computer. Welcome to episode 8 of Spilling the Tea. We have the wonderful Jordan Bazzone with us this week. He's a legendary golf coach teaching out of Woburn. He's looked and looks after at the moment some Ladies European Tour players and some Sunshine Tour players. JB, welcome. Give us a little round into yourself, where it all started for you and how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah, so my story into the game is probably a little bit different actually to most. I never actually really played golf when I was younger. I didn't get into the game until I was about 12, 13. And how I got into it as a career after that was very much I fell into it massively. Wouldn't have it any other way now, but it's funny how it all works. I basically dropped out of school at 17 and was like, I've had enough of this, bored. I just didn't want to, just hated school, like did. And then it was mum and dad were like, obviously like, well, you need to do something. Like you can't just not do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up actually, getting a job at American Golf, just part-time. I was playing golf socially at that point, probably up about a 10 or 12 handicap, I think it was at the time, roughly. So I got a job at American Golf and then within about a year of being there, because all I did was obviously golf at that point, worked in golf and played golf. I got handicap went from like 10 to 2 pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then still had no idea really what I wanted to do at that point. I was just quite happy bumming around and working part-time and then again it was my dad that kind of just said, look, you can do this as a career, that kind of thing. So I kind of looked into that and again, being honest at the time, just did it because it was like, cool, well, I'll do this. And then, I never really played much as a kid in terms of big comps and like the most amateur routes that people go down. Or I did a bit of playing. I played, when I was doing my training, did the usual kind of fancy playing for a bit. Played for about 3 years on like Europro and it would have been like Jamaica at the time. That's when the mini tour stuff. And then, very quickly fell out of love with the game actually through playing. Hated it, in fact, absolutely hated it. So then but again, I was working at Woburn at the time. So I'd gone from American Golf to Woburn at this point, just working again in the shop. And they offered me a little bit more of a permanent role in and around this time. And I just kind of took it and then started to do a little bit more coaching as I kind of finished my training. And yeah, here I am now. I've been at Woburn now, 13 years. So 13 years later. You're an old coach. Getting on, mate. Yeah, I'm coaching there full time now. So
brilliant. And so you are obviously I know you from CMAS, and we've had little discussions and group discussions about sort of practicing and playing. And I know you sort of have your ideas around this. Do you want to start by explaining it a little bit? Open a can of worms.
Yeah, this could do, couldn't it? So in terms of how I see practice and playing, or
yeah, because I know obviously you put something up regarding practicing on the golf course, playing on the golf course the other day. Maybe dive into a little bit of that stuff as well. Yeah,
so I guess where I go, around that sort of stuff, you can go, like you said, you can go down all sorts of rabbit holes with this, right? Yeah. But for me, what I found is, and you go back in history, you go back however many years you want, right?
Yeah.
Golfers as a whole, whether it be tour players or amateur golfers, aren't getting better.
Yeah.
Like the standard across the industry isn't getting better. So therefore, you could actually flat out say that golf coaching isn't getting better. Right, brutally speaking. So I started to look more and more into that and kind of started to speak to people more, the guys and the girls that I coach on the tour, even just the club golfers as well. But actually then started to really, I'm trying to think, well, what do I actually believe in? There's so much stuff out there that people say, like, do this, do that, if you do this, it's going to happen, and practice like this. And it's like, well, to be honest, none of it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like, not one bit. So I started to just kind of think, well, the game hasn't changed since forever. The game is still golf.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do in golf? We're ultimately just trying to adapt our ball flight to any given scenario, whether that be curvature, distance, taking speed off, putting speed on, trajectory, where we're trying to change trajectory. We're very simply just trying to do that constantly, whether it be long game, short game, bunker, whatever. So then I kind of started to go back to, okay, well, this kind of stemmed from asking, I guess, the tour players, so what did you guys do as kids? Like, because obviously you got to a point before anyone else started getting involved.
Yeah.
Like, before any like other coaches started getting involved, or teams or management, things like that, and start all of a sudden telling you what you've got to do. They were like, well, just mess around.
Yeah.
Like, so, okay, cool. So if you stand over, then you need to sit that one a little bit higher or that one a little bit low. You just what you're telling me is you figured it out and worked out what worked for you. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Copied friends. Exactly.
Right. Just purely messed around. So I'm like, okay, there's something here. But now it seems, there's this kind of, the whole performance practice side of things, brutally honest, baffles me.
This is where we could get stuck down a rabbit hole for a little while, I think.
Yeah. But ultimately, my view very broadly on practice is my philosophy on it now really is be a kid.
Yeah.
Be a kid and be on the golf course.
Yeah.
Like I do like a winter sort of series or program with my clients, and I'll take them on the golf course and I'll see what they're doing on the golf course, and then we'll kind of work on those little bits, essentially the skills or the shots they need to throughout the winter. That can also be done for any time of the year.
Yeah.
But every year, without fail, the biggest things that come up are people don't know how to control distance. People don't know how far they hit their clubs.
Yeah.
And just the variety of shots they've got. Or knowing how to adapt to a lie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so this is all past technique, let's call it. It's all past that now. It's simply just being able to hit different shots and adapt to the environment that's in front of you.
Yeah. It's having the knowledge, isn't it? Having the knowledge to be able to read a lie, and then know what factors need to change in order for you to apply a different flight, right?
Exactly.
There's not many out there that know that.
No, yeah, I had to challenge myself on a few of them, to be fair, but no, I just started to see these trends, and again, it would be working with the guys and girls on tour, and it was like, well, what are we doing here? Like, because you guys can hit a golf ball. Like, what are we doing here? That's, I think this is more, again, but why if the ball's not getting in the hole a least amount of shots, means there's a much bigger picture to this.
Yeah,
it's not as simple as just hitting the ball better. So yeah, that kind of led me to kind of what I believe strongly, and I think what I did believe at one point, but then just got lost throughout the journey as we kind of do. But very firmly back into that belief. I think the way the best really figure this out is they just go and figure it out, and they're on the golf course so much more than any other person on the planet.
Yeah, I was going to come in on that one and just say, like, I think again, this is where TV comes into it. Is like if you're watching the build up for the Masters, you're watching live on the range. But these guys are playing golf Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, hopefully Saturday, Sunday. They're playing 6 times a week. That's only the other day is traveling, right? So they are playing way more than the hours on the golf course are way more than the hours on the practice area, unless they're on maybe an off week. So
100%,
surely there has to be something behind that.
And always my always thing as well is I'm only interested in what the best are doing.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in what the average population are doing.
Yeah,
and I think the best lead clues, and again, the people who's best in our time, Tiger, obviously, he always talks about being able to move the ball, hit different shots, how he feels all his different shots. It's not technical at all. And he spends, obviously, he's on the golf course every day in his practice. Part of his practice is he's on the golf course.
Yeah.
You can look again, Brooks Koepka, definitely another best in our time. especially in the majors he's won. Again, doesn't practice, not interested, get me on a golf course. You know, so there's so many clues like that that keep getting left. And that for me, they're the people I'm interested in listening to, what they got to say. And there's no golfer that's ever retired, I don't think. Or if you ask any golfer a question, well, what do you tell the kids? They'd all say be on the golf course more.
Yeah.
None of them would tell them to be on the driving range more.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So true.
I don't think so anyway.
So then if you're saying get out on the golf course more, how would you incorporate some form of practice into that round of golf? Or is there a way you're doing it, or you're just telling them to get out there and just play?
Just play. But I mean, there's things you can do. Let's just say, for example, someone is relatively weak around the greens, for example, adapting flights, maybe like higher, lower, or lies, things like that. So if you're on your own practicing, got a couple of hours, you might just literally scatter balls around the green, just 2 or 3, play them where they lie. Okay. And then have to start to think, okay, well, this is lying like this. What might happen to this lie? How's the ball going to come out? What do I need to do to adapt to that, essentially? Yeah. So it's keeping it fun and skillful in a way. Again, you can do the same in terms of someone's working on controlling their wedge distances. Right, every single hole, throw one down at a wedge yardage that you need to practice. But also maybe put 2 balls down and flight one in higher, flight one in lower. So now all of a sudden you're hitting your clubs different distances as well. Yeah,
we used to a game at college where they had a 9-hole golf course, and we actually had to miss the green. And
deliberate miss.
Yeah, the scorecard was basically done on if you made up and down, not actually the score, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And that's a game that you can go and do on the golf course, right? Because you can still hit a drive down there. You're still aiming at somewhere. Yes, you're missing the green, but you're still aiming at some form of target to miss the green. And then can you make the up and down?
Yeah, that's a really good game. I got this. Yeah, I got that from Carl Morris. Actually, gave me that one. Yeah, and he called it deliberate miss, where you to your iron shot, you would deliberately miss in a certain place. Yeah. But what you're obviously trying to do is you're trying to miss in the place where you can get up and down from. Yeah. So you're kind of training a couple of things there. You're training your course management to know where maybe the best place to miss it is. Not that you're really looking for best place to miss it, you're looking at the pin, right? But also then, like, if you can put together 9 holes of deliberately missing a green and let's say shooting level par, well, it doesn't now all of a sudden mean that if you're missing greens, your round of golf's over. Yeah, so it's a really good one actually. That deliberate miss.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else that you would like to see? So off the tee stuff, anything that you would advise going out and doing in terms of that stuff?
I think off the tee is probably the only one that's actually a little bit more same environment, very similar. Yeah. Apart from obviously some winds and things like that. But again, that's just then kind of face control and face to path work. But really that's probably the one part of the game that can be a little bit more the same, if you like. Yeah. I think more so, most people are probably standing there and hitting a stock driver, really. There'll be some different stuff, but maybe.
Well, my theory on it is that it should be the same ball flight, especially off the tee.
I'm much bigger believer in moving the ball up and down more than I am left to right.
Yes.
I don't think it's as easy to curve the ball as it is to. And again, I think when you look at the best players in the world, when you look at the best players in the world, they control their ball so well from a trajectory point of view. Where when they need to, so again, around the greens, higher, lower, or wedges, hitting one in lower, on the wind, hitting higher, whatever it is, they're not moving it massively left to right. Some players obviously are, and someone's going to.
But they're generally, if they're doing that, they're keeping it to the same style, unless you've got about 2 or 3 that aren't, like your bubbles. Yeah. But the majority,
there's a couple in there that are going to do that.
Hours, they're always flighting the ball on that same
curve. Yeah, typically they're just changing trajectory more often than not. So that for me is a big one, especially when golfers have got wedges in their hands. Yeah, the amount of club golfers that try and hit full wedge shots, and obviously can't control it, don't understand what's going on there. Yeah. So simply by now just change club and we'll hit it slower. It's going to launch lower.
It's
it's going to help.
It's that is one of the simplest ones that you see on the golf course, isn't it? Everyone got like 80 yards, yeah, full 58. No, put that back in the bag. I had a guy pull out a 64-degree wedge to hit a full 50-yard shot the other day. I went, that club can go in the bin right now.
It's going backwards if you get that clean enough.
Yeah,
that's the point. There's another really good on course game. Great for this time of year as well in the UK. Take half a set out.
Yeah.
Be forced to flight the ball differently to get the ball to the hole.
Yeah.
So you're not just hitting full numbers. Because in there somewhere is going to be a shot that you actually really enjoy hitting that all of a sudden is then a bit of something you've got other access to when maybe you're not swinging it the way you want to be swinging it. Yeah,
very true. Yeah, exactly like that. You might find something that you can go to when it's going wrong. I always say to guys to get a shot, basically go 2 clubs down, but hit the same yardage. So if your 9-iron goes 130, pull out your 7-iron and make sure that you can hit it 130. Because as soon as that wind, if you're links golfing, or as soon as that wind starts picking up, then you need that style of a shot in there. And if you haven't got it, how are you ever going to hit it?
No. I think Steve Williams talked about that when he caddied for Tiger. He said that his ability to hit all of his clubs so many different yardages was incredible. He said they'd be standing on par 3 tees sometimes and it would be like 150 yards and he'd have like 6-iron in his hands and his playing partners would be like, what the hell? Like, didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, and he's just chipping the 6-iron in and stiffing it. And so that again, just the best lead clues, I think, and just something there.
Yeah, I know. I've got a friend that's a pro that's his PGA playoffs in a couple of weeks' time, and he is very much similar. He's not the longest hitter that you know, but he just knows what he's doing with an iron. And like you say, if he's got 90 yards, sometimes he's using a 9-iron just because he knows what he's doing with it. It's crazy I could never do that, but that's why
that's why he's over there, mate.
why I'm filming a podcast that nobody watches. Right. Any traits that you see, or any trait differences that you will see between your pros and amateurs? Let's start. You like talking golf course, so let's talk golf course.
We're talking just in terms of being on, just in terms of how they play golf, or
So let's start. Let's go off the tee, approach, short game, putting. Do you see any differences of things that they do off the tee?
Well, you're going to have the obvious ones in terms of how they hit the golf ball is going to be different depending on who you're comparing against, obviously. But I'd honestly say, like, the best players, they keep it the simplest.
Yeah.
They keep it the simplest. They have 1 or 2 things that they really like. And it's like, right, just that's it. It's all I need. That's all I need. And anything. And again, the best way I've kind of got on with players would be thinking more golf shot rather than kind of technique, especially again, we get around the greens and approach shots, right? What do we need to do here? Okay, well, let's think about what we do with the golf ball. They're obviously so good from a talent perspective that they'll do it.
Yeah.
But that does work then taking that into the club golfer as well, because actually most people know what to do when they're guided in the right direction, as long as their concepts are right. But that would be it. I think it would be genuinely be the simplicity would be the biggest difference I would see.
Yeah.
The pros keep it so much simpler than club golfers try and keep it. That would be, like I said, on the golf course, that'd be down to practice as well. Like, you know, I said the whole performance thing in my mind doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because I think you just can't recreate the pressure and performance that you can that a golf course offers. So in tournament modes or whatever. So the whole idea to me about hitting X amount of golf balls doing this on the driving range and X amount of golf balls doing this on the driving range just doesn't really, you know, you'll hear, oh, you'll decrease your handicap if you do this, this, and this. It's like, well, I don't think it really is the truth.
Yeah.
So simply, it's just
there's certainly a lot more to it than just do this and this will happen when it comes to golf.
Yeah. So I'd say more. I'd be much more looking at like skill games rather than performance games.
Yeah.
And then skill games I would look at as golf shots, learning to hit different golf shots.
Yeah.
And not necessarily scoring them or trying to put pressure to them, because you can't recreate a golf course environment. You just can't. No. And the idea that you can try and do it on a driving range to help a golf course, I just don't think is true.
I like, and this has been floating about a lot on social media, but I like the theory of how many times in a row can you hit that certain shot in practice, because I think if you can get some consistency in doing that, especially if you set a target, there probably does become some form of pressure on it once you get close to the target or beyond it, because then you're starting to go, oh my God, I've hit 5 of these high draws in a row. Can I do 6? Can I do 7? And then you can almost lean on that a little bit more on the golf course. You have that backup of, I've done this 10 times in a row, 20 times in a row. I can do it when I'm out here. I like that kind of practice, but I don't like shelling golf balls. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can also look at that as well. And I don't disagree necessarily, but I think also like that for me, I always found for me and was like, well, yeah, I know what you mean. Like you hit a couple of those ball flights, you've got to do another one. Yeah. But it's almost like, it's fake pressure.
Yeah, like, I get that. Yeah.
It's like you kind of, I don't know, depending on who you are. Because obviously I've done that sort of stuff with pros and club golfers. And you see some of the more natural winners, let's call them, they almost just go like, it's fake. Like, I don't this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel anything here. Whereas obviously you get them on a golf course, and now it's a bit more, okay, this is pressure.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. There's different things like that. But it also, as always, it will depend on what you're trying to what you practice, right? Sometimes there is a time and a place to hit golf balls.
100%.
Sometimes.
So would you say keeping it simple is throughout, off the tee, approach, around the greens, on the green, or is there slightly some more different traits that you'll start to see as you get closer to the green in terms of differences between pros and amateurs? I might give you one that you could talk about.
Go on.
Lie reading around the greens.
Yeah, I think you could go club golfer. Definitely don't take into consideration enough what the lie may or may not do. Lie's got to be the first thing you're going to look at, whether it be on a slope, whether it be sat down, sat up. That's going to dictate what type of shot or what club, in fact, you might be using. So yeah, no, they don't take. The classic one I think for most club golfers will be they'll walk into the green, they've already picked out their favourite wedge before they've even looked at what's in front of them, and then so now they're kind of forced into hitting that club, even though it might be the completely wrong club and wrong shot. So I don't think they don't hit necessarily a lot of bad golf shots. They've just made a bad decision, which then has kind of led to an involuntary movement because they know it's the wrong type. So for sure, the pros at work, they will take, or whenever you're out with them, it'll take a lot more time looking at what the lie is going to do. Some of them it's very instinctive with it, but they know they take it all in.
Over time, they learn that lie reading stuff is like that, and sometimes when there's caddies involved, it makes it a little bit easier as well, right? It makes it, they're going to understand
or harder.
What's doing. Oh yeah,
or harder
in some cases.
I've seen that as well. When caddy sees it one way, pro sees it the other.
Yeah, can't be. And it's like that. Then that has to be. I would think.
It has, but then that has to come back to the player. The player has to take ownership of that and hit the shot they want to hit. But now hopefully there's not too many clashes going on. Otherwise, they're probably get sacked pretty quick.
I mean, that's way to losing tour card straight away, isn't it?
Just a bit, losing your job on the bag, that as well.
And it's so, like you say, it's so instinctive, and they know they've like what you're talking about in terms of practicing on the golf course. They've been in that situation so many times that they've experienced how that ball reacts. When amateurs go and practice, even short game stuff, they're mainly hitting off the fringe or the fairway, not diving into the rough on a short-sided, silly, disgusting chip shot. They're just hitting some fairway shots, and they don't understand the difference between how that ball's going to react as soon as they have to go into a different lie. Whereas the pros have been out there, been on the golf course, understand how that's going to react and can adapt from there, right?
100%, yeah, much more, like you say, because that experience. But I would add to that as well. But add to the pros are feeling everything that amateur golfers feel as well, in terms of making a mistake, and is this going to be the right club choice? Is that the right area? All that doubt and stuff. They're feeling all of that at the same time.
If anything, more, because the pressure is way more on them to make money than it is just a weekend round of golf, right?
Yeah. And in a grand scheme of things, yes, but I think everyone's pressure's relative to them, isn't it? I think it's, if you're just a weekend warrior, then that pressure's your pressure.
Yeah.
If you're playing for career, then that's your pressure. It's all relative, but yeah, of course they're throwing balls around, they're hitting from more different lies constantly on the golf course, so much more. So, like you said, they have a bit more of an idea of what the ball might do, and how they can adapt to it, rather than completely guessing.
Yeah. I think you also see. I mean, I've watched some stuff where they're like on the range at certain tournaments, and you even just watch the caddy just throw a ball down, right, hit the shot from there, throwing a ball in a different place, hit the shot from there. It's one time, even on the practice area, it's one time shots out of different lies, different conditions every single time. And you certainly won't see that around the green at your local golf club, I don't think.
No, but it's what we did as kids, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So we did. It's all we did with a mate. Chuck a ball down, lob it over there, play it as it lies.
Yeah.
Right, nearest the pin.
Nearest pin, next location.
Yeah. And do you know what's funny, actually? So where I am, Woburn, super lucky. Our short game area is obviously like magnificent. And we can play any shots around there. And so I was there on Saturday morning, and there was a group of guys, three guys, all sensational golfers, plus like 4 plus 5 handicappers. A couple of them have played in the Open, before, things like that. And it was amazing actually watching them. So they were about to go and tee off in a minute, but that's all they were doing.
Yeah.
All they're doing, playing for breakfast, playing for coffee. I'm sure they had a bit of money on it as well, to be fair. But that's all they did. One shot, wedge and a putter. That's all you're allowed. Yeah. And it was just chip and putt, up and down. And it was like, and that even struck me then as like, these guys know a thing or two. Like, he's played in the Open twice, and they're playing off +5 right now. He plays for England at the moment, seniors, and it's like, well, they kind of know what they're doing. Yeah.
But you see it with the guys on tour. Whenever they're out on the practice round, they're laying money down on the people that they're playing with, aren't they? There's always competitive games going on, even in the practice rounds. Maybe there's something to that in weekend warriors. Maybe you got to lay something on it.
Could be anything, though, couldn't it? Just beers, whatever. Yeah, depends what you're playing for. Obviously, some people would just want to play much more for a jolly, but maybe it just needs a little bit more of a edge.
You like an edge, didn't you?
Hopefully not too many sharp ones, no.
Mid-round edge off, you like, didn't you?
Love it, yeah. I'm way ahead of it, mate. Over the top of it, thin the shit out of it, yeah.
Right, what stats what stats, when you say them to your clients, surprise them the most?
Either putts hold from certain distances.
Don't get me started, JB.
Or proximity to the hole. Always the ones that people are gobsmacked at, how close people actually hit it, and how much footage is hold, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that is
the classic ones.
It's TV, isn't it? They see it on TV. Yeah. That one in, I don't know, 20 shots that someone actually flags is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, the putting one's great. The putting one's definitely the most common one. I'm spending more and more time with guys on the golf course as much as I can. But they'll get like 10-footer, for example, and they might miss three in a row, for example, for 3 in a few holes, and you can see them starting to get really angry, like really frustrated. So part of me is like, cool, I like this. Like, it's good. Like, you obviously care,
Yeah.
But like, what, and then you start to ask, well, why are you angry? And then obviously the answer always comes back, well, I should be holding these.
Yeah.
It's only like you're rubbing your hands, you're doing for an absolute field day here. It's great. It's like, cool, let me get my stats up. Like, I don't dive too much into stats, you will know that. But like, you just go, well, what do you think? What do you think the PGA Tour players are doing from here? And it's like, and the answer always comes back, I don't know, 90%.
Yeah. Nope.
You're like, you try under 50% from here.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
it's 60, it's about 60% from 8 foot, I think, isn't it? I'm trying to now.
Yeah, 50 from 8 foot last time I checked,
yeah,
right on 9.
6 foot 60, 8 foot is 45%, 10 foot is 36%.
So that, I think that's always, that helps manage the expectations.
I always love throwing one at them that it's about the make percentage is more. Sorry, the make percentage is less from 31. No, the make percentage from 33 foot is less than it is from free putting on tour. So from 33 foot, they're more likely to 3-putt than they are 1-putt. Yet I bet you only see the one where they bin it on TV.
100%.
Oh.
Yeah, people forget there's like 144 players playing every week, and you're probably only watching 6 of them.
Yeah, the top 6.
Exactly, always.
Yep. What about proximity to hole? Where is it throughout that they are a bit outwards, or is
throughout, but mainly when they start to get a wedge in their hands.
Yeah,
I think they still think it's got to be stone dead.
Yeah,
like that 100. What is it? 100 yards is like what, 12 feet, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far off that. I think it might be a little bit more now. I've got strokes gained. So, hey, 100 yards, you're still. Oh, that's from the rough. Let me get a fairway one. Fairway strokes gained from 100 yards. You're, 14 foot.
Yeah.
Strokes gained from 15 foot, you're losing 0.7 of a shot. So it's about 15 foot from 100 yards on the fairway.
Yes, again, these are the best players on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. You think, but then you have to translate that, right? So these guys are hitting it on average to 15 foot, and then they've got a make percentage of something like 11% from there. So you've got to hit 10 shots within 15 foot to get one.
Yeah. You got to be hitting it pretty flush, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. But then the thing that they have is they have the yards to make the par 5s look a little bit silly.
Yeah, of course.
You think you've got 4 racked up there, and then you've only you hit. You're not every shot. Not every par 4 shot is from 100 yards. So you're not going to make 1 in 10. You're probably going to make 1 in 14, and there's a 5 under round of golf. But
that's assuming you're dealing with everything else that's going on that day.
Exactly. When you get the 180 shot that goes 33 foot, and then you 3 jab that one.
All sorts going on.
Right, favorite strategy, Chip. What have I just said there? Favorite strategy tip for an amateur golfer.
My favorite one, I alluded to this earlier, only because I started doing this one more and more the last year or so, and just getting so much more success with golfers doing it, is the half a set.
Yeah.
Perfect time of year again, this time of year. Like, so many people have said to me, like, they're hitting so many different shots they never would have hit before, but then all of a sudden they're getting these shots when they're actually playing around a golf, and it's like, okay, I can start to do this. Yeah. And again, more importantly, from especially like the 9-iron, 8-iron areas where people are being forced to have to flight it in more and not hit full wedge shots. So that'd be my favorite one, because it's easy, it's fun. You can just take out half a bag and just learn how to manage your distance. Again, from a trajectory point of view, I think would be bigger thing for me than left to right curves.
I think also with that is you start actually thinking about where pins are placed, right? Because if you've got a pitching wedge, and your next club is 8-iron, if that pins at the front and it's just on the limit of that pitching wedge number, they're going to move to the 8-iron because it gives them that chance of hitting the green, right? So it makes you think about golf a little bit more as well, doesn't it? That
good point. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
yeah, I think all that's
anyway.
It might not do. They
No.
might try and go.
Well,
Sorry, I'm just going to lamp.
We definitely know they're going to be going gun ho
Lamp the wedge
to get it
Yeah,
there.
100%. Just for the ego. Just say go in the bar afterwards and go hit wedge 150 today.
That should have been an 8-iron.
Yeah,
typical.
But no, yeah, that would be my my favorite one. It's so underrated. That.
How often would you get your guys to go and do that?
Whenever they can. Now, obviously, again, in the UK, winter, we're limited with obviously daylight, with weather, things like that. So I fully understand all of that. That there's going to be times where people can only get to a driving range and things. But so whenever you can, like, you know, a lot of people these days do go and play 9 holes after work, or just go for a wander for a few holes. But rather than just play golf as such, you're still good playing golf, but that's something you can do. Just take half a set. So when you can, I don't think there's a right and a wrong or a rule of thumb to how many times you have to practice and do this and do that. But if someone's never done it and all of a sudden they've done it once or twice and they've learned a new skill from it, then great.
Yeah.
Then great. Doesn't mean it has to be done every time, but I think it's worth doing, especially when you find, especially the golfers that find themselves not being able to score on the golf course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those ones where they come in and you go, how are you shooting those scores when your data ball flight is presenting this stuff? How are you going and shooting those scores? That's when you know, okay, we need to get on the golf course here and have a look at what we're doing.
What? Yeah, or get on the golf course first.
Oh yeah.
100%. Whether we're doing that the right or the wrong way around, I don't know. But
chicken or the egg.
Exactly. But yeah, no, we've all been there. We've all been there ourselves.
What 5 clubs would you take out, JB? Or half a set? What clubs would you take?
Question. I'd take driver.
Yep.
For me personally, I'd take driver for reasons of then even like the tighter holes or the shorter holes, learning to hit driver a few different ways. So maybe teeing it down again. I'm talking height wise here. Teeing it up, hitting it further, teeing it down. Maybe trying to just like chip one down the fairway, and also learn to hit driver in tighter scenarios. Again, saying that an iron's going to be more accurate than a driver in tight fairway is also absolute nonsense. I don't think anyone can prove that. It's just like, well, you tried it.
Yeah.
Driver. I've got a little hybrid. I'd go a little hybrid just so you can mess around the greens, just in case you have a fancy little bump and runs.
Yeah.
I'd go 56 because that just covers all areas around the greens, means it high. And then I'd go 6 and 9 iron.
You think you've got the gap in there?
No, I tell you what. No, I'd go.
Oh.
Yeah, because I would. I don't think I could take that much off a hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would. I'd be comfortable taking enough off a 6 iron if I needed to.
Yeah. What would be the gap in between your 6 and your 9 iron? How many yards would that then be? If you do.
God, here we go. About 40, I reckon. 196 iron, 150 9 iron. Yeah, it'd be about fair.
Reckon
a few yards. I have to absolutely go. I need to be warmed up. I need to absolutely button it as well.
166 iron. Have you got it in the tank?
I'll be easy this time of year. Easily.
What are you doing? What are you doing to hit a 166 iron?
See, I wouldn't be able to. I just think I'd be feeling this. I'd definitely be aiming a bit left, opening the face and using kind of face to path to soften the flight. And then I would just very much from a swing perspective try and feel that sort of distance. Okay. And try and just
you wouldn't
ever
not that you would for this type of shot anyway, but you wouldn't, if we go to wedges here, you wouldn't have sort of a clock system or a positional system. It would be a lot of feel stuff.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And hey, the clock system is definitely a way, and I know players that use that. My belief in that is you can obviously swing the club the same distance, but then accelerate 2 different speeds. So, and I think golfers get caught up in trying to get the club into a certain point, and they're now so tuned out from actually the speed they need to hit the golf ball at, and the shot they're trying to hit. So for me, and again, I've just messed around doing this with clients and just with golfers, just give them a wedge instead of a 54. And it's like, right, just feel me. Let's say they're trying to hit 80 yards with a 54 degree. I go, right, just feel me a pitching wedge in there at that yardage.
Yeah.
And they can do it.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
As long as all being equal with strike.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, much more feel, because again, what are we trying to do in golf? We're just trying to adapt constantly.
Yeah.
There's no adaptability to a clock system as such. It's swing that goes that.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I want to do a bit of that? Well, no, that's not in your clock system. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I think it just creates that.
So I would use the clock system, but I have all the yard. I have not all, but I have yardages in all the wedges for all different positions of the clock. So if I need a certain shot, they're in there. But like you say, if you don't have that many wedges because you need the top end, then you're going to be struggling there. But also, I will never ever film me doing some form of clockwork thing, because
the swing's not there.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like 10 o'clock, but it's probably like 12 o'clock. It's probably all the way up there, and as soon as that happens, that's it. You're in a world of pain, because
that's what I was finding with players. Yeah,
exactly,
100%. Exactly what I was finding, because they're so obsessed with where it is.
Yeah,
and also people can't define what you're swinging to that position. Is it your arm? Is it your hand? Is it your club head? Is it your shaft?
Yeah,
it's just, for me, it's just too much.
Yeah,
going on. And I'm not saying it can't work, because I know players that do use it and they're very good pitchers of the golf ball. But I'd be pretty confident in going if I feel like you say filmed it and actually said, "Well, where are you trying to swing this to?"
Yeah,
there's nowhere near a thing.
Yeah, I'm very careful if I am doing a system like that of filming it, because it just can go down a deep rabbit hole doing that.
Yeah, I'd much rather players feel it and change speed.
Yeah. Right, JB, off topic, but LIV Tour or PGA Tour this year?
To be honest, I don't watch that much golf.
Oh well, yeah, you hate golf,
but yeah, exactly right. I don't watch that much golf. I'm the usual kind of. I'm like a weekend golfer in this respect. Like a fair weather golfer. I watch the Masters, I watch the Open. That's about it. I'm a proper fair weather golfer in this respect. However, my views.
Yeah, they've sent some LIV Tour invites this year.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. However, on the whole subject, I don't think it's a bad thing whatsoever. I think because if we're looking at growing the game of golf, then LIV has certainly done that in terms of interesting kids again, and this whole like new idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame the way it all happened.
Yeah.
And friendships are going to be lost, and there's all this money talk, blah blah blah. But it's like it's going to come together at some point. Like it will do. It will not separate forever. Yeah. So it'll be great when it does, and we actually finally have an idea of what this whole thing is going to be. Yeah. But I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be amazing to have in part of the schedule 6 to 8 events that are pure team events, and then you've still got your normal PGA Tour season where we're seeing all the best players together again. So I don't see it as a bad thing at all for the game. I think John Rahm is one clever human being. Yeah. I think he's gone at the perfect time, and he knows they're coming together pretty soon. So I have a lot of respect for him.
There's got to be some inside knowledge on that one, surely.
Yeah.
So they're, like you say, they're at some point they're definitely going to come together. What would you like to see? How would you like to see the format of the merger happen?
Ooh. In terms of how they announce it?
No, how would you, so like, how would you like to see?
Or what that would look like?
Yeah, what would you like it to look like? What would be the
Yeah,
most fun outcome?
the most fun outcome for the viewers would be some sort of team thing, right?
Yeah.
I think some sort of team thing that everyone plays in, and whether how they do that, whether they do it very similar to some of the American sports like drafts or transfers. I don't know how that will work, but I think it will be cool. I think it will be really cool for like I say, a few events a year, wherever they are, big kind of stages, and it's just a big team action. Again, whether that's done like Formula One in brands or whatever, I don't know. I think that would be really cool, and I think that's what would keep golf appealing to some of the younger generations.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't want to see any of the traditions disappear from the game either. Like your standard events and all the history, the heritage, like all that sort of stuff. Like I think I would hate to lose all of that within golf, which I don't think they will. But I definitely think there's a place for something different.
Yeah, 100%. Be interesting because there's all this. I think there's talk at the moment it being like a Champions League, isn't there? But you just don't know how that level work out. I wonder if, for me, if they were able to host one, like a group stage, so get all the, I don't know how many, whether it be just PGA Tour players involved or the top 200 players in the world, and they have a group stage, top 2 teams from each of those go through, and then each event is basically then a 2-team match play. But obviously all the teams are there at the same time, because you can't just do, it won't be great TV if you've got 8 players playing. But if you
it needs to be on the same.
So they're all on the same golf course, so we're playing match play in some form of whatever it be, and whittles it down to then the final 2, and then there's your final. That would be pretty cool in my eyes. But how much TV that gets, I don't know.
It'll come down to all that when it will come down to TV and money, really, at the end of the day. But I think it's been a good disruption for the game. I do. Like I say, I think it's a shame the way some of it's all happened and things like that. But I don't think it's a bad thing for the game whatsoever. And ultimately, and I think now it's all settled down a little bit. Even the players are getting obviously less involved. They're just back to playing golf again now, which is the way it should be. Even speaking to the girls and on tour and stuff, like ultimately with my guidance with them is just let's just keep playing golf. Like no one has any control over what's going to happen in this. Whether you guys end up going to LPGA, whether it links to Saudi, like no one has an idea. It's just
there's got to be 5 people maximum that have the control of what happens in this, and none of them are players.
No, exactly. And they probably don't even know yet either.
Yeah. So true. Right, JB, I took you off topic, but I think that was a nice little ending. Where can people find you if they want to find you?
So Instagram, probably my main source of socials, which is at Jordan Bazzone Golf Coaching. And then there's more information regarding who I am and what I do on my website as well, which is just jordanbazzonegolf.com. Yeah. Jordan Bazzone Golf.
Your website, mate. You should know.
.com.
You're also on Skillist, aren't you? So if anybody wants to find you via that, they can.
Yes. Skillist for online as my online platform as well. But that's all on my website anyway. All that sort of stuff where you can find me, where and what I'm who I am. But I'm more than happy to take any questions and any that anyone's got regarding anything, practice, whether it be swing, course, whatever.
Legend, mate. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. We don't do this often enough, so I will have to annoy you more often. But thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it a lot, and I will see
Pleasure.
you.
Thanks for having me, mate. Take care.